Magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 170 of the Magic Guys. We are coming in hard and the magic is coming in fast. And to my right, we've got Nick K.
Welcome to the show, friends.
Oh yeah, down below to the side, we got Doug Kahn.
What's up, Magic Nerds?
Oh yeah, and I'm Josh Lambito. Welcome to the show where we talk about magic, our life as magicians. We answer your questions and all around try to discover how to grow hair back. While my dogs...
Are you doing that still? You actually research hair growth? What a waste of time.
Well, there was a time when I was deep into the finasteride discoveries. But I'm going to mute my mic while Nick takes over for a second.
Yeah, wrangle those things.
Yeah, the dog wranglers. So, friends, welcome to the show. It's been a week. We've had a wonderful week. And more importantly, we're really happy you guys have joined us. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. We have Drago Tier, Tim Askin. We have Seth Howard, my good friend Gary Davis. Thank you all for being here. Shoot your questions through everything you might have. But let's press on to Doug and just check up on you. We missed you, Daddy.
Oh, yeah. It's been 2 weeks for me. I took some time off and went to get powered by the yellow sun and blackjack and alcohol.
All the ingredients that make a
machine
superstar.
And I'm only mentioning the things that YouTube will allow me to mention. There was all kind of appropriate adulting going on last week. So yay, but back to normal. Happy to be in Magic universes again. And yeah, doing good. Except for this. I cut my thumb. Over the weekend, I'm chopping up some steaks because I'm doing that good. I'm cutting some ribeyes. And wow, man, it's like I probably could have got a stitch in this thing, but I didn't. So I'm just doing it this way.
Did you consider... Did you consider just losing the thumb and then you can do real magic with it? Like making people think you have the thumb?
For about 32 seconds, I was going to be a minimalist. And that's how long it took me to figure out that was a bad idea.
Damn.
And I just applied pressure and cleaned it. And, you know,
I had cut my thumb once on a piece of steel right across the base of it, like ruining my video gaming career. But I had a gig later that evening and I just went straight to a petrol station and I got super glue and I just glued my thumb back together and did the gig and pulled it off without a hitch. Didn't bleed on anybody, but thumb counts were very difficult that evening.
Man, I was this close to getting the super glue out. Like I've never done that. And I happen to be in between insurance right now. So it's like I couldn't run to get the emergency stitch. It cost me $1,000, $5,000 here. And I was like, only that. And I was like, do I put the super glue on it? And I didn't. It's just a little thing right by the nail, but man, it was bleedy.
Well, that's where super glue was created from. It was created in the Vietnam War, to my knowledge, and it was used to heal and put your wounds together.
Really? It was a medical tool originally?
You bet. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was a little concerned about putting weird chemicals in my bloodstream. Like that's going to happen anyway, but.
Like that's the thing.
Can someone besides Nick vouch for this? I'm looking for vouchers, other internet vouchers on this super glue theory. I'm still not with all due respect, Nick K. But,
Taken.
John Prentice in the chat. Yeah, he's saying it's good. I trust
so, friends, we've had an amazing run of awesome interviews, and keep in mind, we do have many more to come. However, during this time, you fine people have been sending through your questions and your speak pipes. We want to give you guys a spotlight today by covering all the speak pipes that have currently been sent through. So, Josh, should we kick off with our first speak pipe?
Nah, not yet. I want to talk about insurance.
Make them wait.
No, we have so many. Like you guys, the moment there's a sniff of free merch out there, it's like boom. We get so much support and love, and we really appreciate that. So
we all hyping the shirt last week. I didn't even watch the episode like a loser. I know like Tim Ellis crushed it.
Yeah, look at Nick K showing it off. So the idea. So I'm waiting for mine, and once I have mine, we're gonna make an actual promo of it, and we can showcase. Because I don't know, unless you screenshot this episode and really zoom in, and the pixels are good. Like there's a lot of Easter eggs in the shirt, which is just fun. Yeah. But anyway, look, this first speak pipe is from I think Nick's friend Jay Christo. I'm gonna say no more. We're just gonna play it and see what happens. Here we go.
Hey everyone, hope you're well. Now, I recently had a stage performance at a juvenile justice centre, And as part of my set, I wanted to incorporate a gypsy thread routine, which of course is normally paired with a motivational speech or even a sad story. Now, given the circumstances, I didn't think it was actually my place to give these boys a lecture on motivation, given the circumstances. But it wasn't until the night before the show where the inspiration struck when I was doing the restoration of the thread. Now, when I was 8 years old, my baby brother had a really bad habit of eating thread and hair from the carpet. And I don't know about you, but it actually doesn't pass through our bodies that well. And so naturally, along the journey, it can get stuck. And I'll leave it up to your imagination as to who had to rectify that issue. Excuse the pun.
Rectify.
So I have questions. So was that the routine he went with? Did it come out of his butt and restore? Because if he did, that's great. And, you know, those juveniles will find that hilarious. But Nick, do you have more info on this?
When Mr. Christo and I had a conversation about it, he was telling me that when you eat the string, it comes out the same way. And I believe that in some hippie cultures, there's a thing about like swallowing the string and you can have it go right through and you feed it through. So ultimately what was happening was when it did come through the other end, it doesn't exactly pass right through. You have to physically grab it and then pull it through your intestinal tract. So,
so I'm emailing Jack Grady right now that I have a new bit for Zach.
Yeah. So I get that.
Grady consulting is done. Okay.
And you know what I remember too, off topic, Wayne Houchin, you know, everyone was obsessed with his thread effect when it came out, right? Coming out of his eye, like you swallow the thread here. So when he lectured in Brisbane, he was telling us how he cheeks the part that goes in your mouth. And someone asked him, like, why don't you just swallow it? And he said, I used to swallow it, but one day when I swallowed it, the tip of the thread caught in my throat and it just unraveled as it swallowed. So he ended up with what you're explaining, but at the top half of his body. And he said it's like the most uncomfortable thing ever. So he never, ever, ever, ever swallows it now. And that's why. And so, yeah, I guess this is the same thing, but it unraveling later on. But yeah, maybe that's a Jack Grady routine, because that really is a great torn and restored.
Well, you know
routine.
what?
But
well, like, to your point, there is a couple of ways you can sort of present things that pass through your being. So, for example, the deep routine in which you have a twisting balloon and swallow the entire thing. I know folks who swallow it entirely and then just pass the latex. I'm not going to promote it.
Wow.
But yeah. My friend Stickman, he does that. And I don't recommend it.
Only guys with names like Stickman can do those things.
Yeah.
But I just think that, you know, friends, be wary if you are going to swallow magic in any capacity. But, you know, there's a couple of fun ideas where, you know, if you were to swallow the balloon and then you reach into your behind and you pull out a dog and you call it a Shih Tzu, funny, I suppose. But no.
I did that when did I do that? I did it on a ship because I did one show where I swallowed it, and then every single person on the ship asked me, where is the balloon? That was the most annoying thing ever. So I was like, all right, I need an answer. So when I did the second show, the parlor show, I started the show with going, ugh, and then you see the balloon dog drop down from behind me. I was like, there you go. And I stuck it to the front of the stage and you know, whatever. But now there's some good sources for making it come back, right? Like David Stone, when he was touring, he was explaining how you can pull it out of your stomach, like fully restored. And now there's some ways you can
actually
pull
him lecture
it
on
back.
that. It looked good, actually.
There's a lot of setup on that as well.
Yeah, but very doable. It's just, it's not like gimmickry or anything. Like there's the one now, my buddy Joel Fenton has the method now where you can pull it back out of your mouth and it's coming out inflated.
What?
The whole thing. But that's, you know, there's a bit of stuff going on there.
Maybe if you could get that working out of the rear now, you know, in
Jack
the
Grady.
front, out the back.
At the same time, actually, you could, you could probably, wow, we're just writing his routine, aren't we?
Yeah,
that's amazing. All right, look, let's go to another speak pipe. Not that this isn't helpful.
Wait,
info.
before we do that, let's just make clear these are all horrible ideas for public consumption. Unless your name is Stickman. That's the only guy.
Yeah.
that could do
Or, if you're making these videos for an OnlyFans of some kind,
Yes.
like it's content.
But your
All
name
right.
cannot, it has to be one word and ideally not an actual pronoun.
Yeah, of course. Of course. This next one is anonymous. So here we go.
Hey guys, my name is Caden. I just want to say I'm not really a long-term listener, but I just have to say I've been religiously listening to your podcast, doing almost nothing but since I started listening.
Cool.
My question is though, uh, I have been wanting to get more books on Magic. Right now I have, by your recommendation in one of your videos, Doug, actually, JB Bobo's uh, the Modern Coin Magic, and then I also have the 13 Steps to Mentalism. But I'm just wondering, what books would you guys recommend, either about general magic, or I'm also looking for more things with cards right now too. Thanks.
Great question. man.
Hey, all right. This is definitely.
and thank you for listening and your support. I think that Doug should take precedent on this.
For sure.
So let me say the easy answer first. If you like cards, get Card College. 5 volumes, 8 if you get all of it with the easy stuff. That's some of the best magic that's been printed. Like, it really gives you a great learning experience on the subject matter. I think Richard Kaufman just reprinted that coin magic book, Kaufman's Coin Magic. And if you enjoyed Bobo's book, you might spend a few dollars to get this Coin Magic by Richard Kaufman, but it captures some great workers, David Roth, Jeff Lotta. Lotta Magic is killer. There's Slidini,
Really good.
Divernon material. Ed Marlowe's Matrix is in that book. So many good things.
Ooh.
And that'd be a good one there. And,
Yeah, if I could add to that, my personal favorite book is not so much about learning the tricks, but more so just about how to present yourself. And for me, that book is Maximum Entertainment by Ken Weber. And I think that is the most valuable book in my collection. And I highly recommend that.
I swear that was going to be the next words that came out of my mouth. That book.
Yep.
Good choice.
I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, but I haven't actually read that book. So heard about it many times though, but never actually read it. I know.
From what I've seen, you've basically taught that book on your channel, Josh, with all your professionalism. That's basically what that book is.
Yeah, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to call it A Lot of Entertainment.
Minimum entertainments. Medium entertainment. Yeah, but I love that book. I know that Ken Weber has a follow-up to that because I bumped into him in New York and he was as he was working on the new one. I've not got my hands on the new one yet. I don't know if it's a reiteration or just a reprint with a couple of extra chapters, but he did say that he was writing a second one, but I haven't taken it upon myself to actually get that one yet. The next book I'll be reading will be our good friend Taylor Hughes's Misdirection book. That's the next book I'm going to be reading.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, interesting. A book for muggles written by a magician. Okay. So hope that that answers your question, Caden. Glad you're listening. And yeah, between reading the books, listening to our podcast, obviously at the same time, ideally, you will no doubt become a wizard in no time. A maximum entertaining wizard. Next speak pipe is from Scotty P, who came to visit us at the Theatre of Magic last week, repping the Magic Guys t-shirt. So he gets extra points for that.
That's cool.
That is very cool. You get extra points in my book if you show up with my face on it, basically. All right, Scotty P, let's see what you got for us today.
What's going on, Magic Guys? It's Scotty P here. Quick question regarding gigs. Not so much booking corporate gigs and making the leap into becoming a full-time magician, but how to volunteer time at various places. And as Doug would say, just get those reps in possible venues or public locations like hospitals or something like that. Yeah, food for thought.
Oh man, I got so many answers, but
Take
so
points,
does everyone. All right, Scotty P, juvenile centers, all right? And what you're going to do is you're going to talk about swallowing a thread and you pull it out your rectum.
This is the daycare show.
Yeah. No, look, if you're happy to donate your time or, get those reps or even get paid, but a small amount, like there's so many places you can start. Like, an easy one, if you don't want to get heckled much, is retirement homes are always, and I mean always, looking for entertainment. Like, that I get called pretty regularly, but it's just that they don't have a budget for getting a lot of acts in, but they always are looking. So that's a very easy place. And they're also very familiar with cards. They're normally always playing bridge or canasta or something. So they love card magic. Anyway, that is a place. Another place is you can look up, there's a website that lists all of the school carnivals that happen in your area. And what I used to do is I would call up those places and just say, hey, I'm a practicing magician. I'm really good, but I just want a place to be able to perform and like maybe give out some of my business cards. You'll get free roving magic basically. And 9 out of 10 times they love that, because why would they say no to free magic? And then you mentioned hospitals. So definitely that's a thing, because they usually have agencies they work with that come in that, like clown doctors, and definitely I've done stuff with the children's hospitals. And so you can definitely just reach out to me. I can give you some people you can call that I've worked with before. And then if there's charities that you particularly are drawn to, every charity has at least one gala ball every year, and then heaps of other events throughout the year to fundraise. You reach out to them and they'll definitely get you involved. Like Make-A-Wish is an easy one, but like a general one that's sort of around the world. But you can, there's so many of them. I don't even know where to start. But yeah, so they will definitely have you on board. And you'll also get pretty nice photos and sometimes video from doing their events too, because they always like to snap where their money's going to and stuff like that. So that would be the easy ways to start. And that's my TED Talk. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to back that up by saying, we've at the Institute of Magic have partnerships with certain folks as well, and one of them is the Variety folk, which for fundraising and so forth. And those events are really nice. They're held in really beautiful venues. Everyone's well dressed. You can do the same. So take it upon yourself to like look good, smell good, do everything you need to do, and then use that ultimately to build your content for your show reels and so forth, because it's just going to make it a lot easier to promote yourself when people can actually see what you do. So yeah, I think you pretty well covered that, Josh. Anything else you want to add to that, Doug?
I mean, you could do some adult environments. You go out and have some drinks at the bar and just throw down like at the bar. Or when I was a kid, I used to go to the food court at the mall. Maybe you're 16, can't get in a bar, and you just need to get the reps in, go to the food court and hit up chicks and stuff and do magic there. High school, lunchtime's great. You could go do magic there. And street performing is the ultimate.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, Scotty, you can definitely apply for your Queen Street Mall busking license. Then you can just set up a small table and do close up as you wish. Like
that's the best.
I'm saying that because I know that's the style you enjoy, and then there's no pressure. You go anytime, right? Yeah, baby. And people give you money. So
Dick does point out no one goes to malls anymore. So you'll be performing for janitors and store clerks, but that's fine too. I don't know.
Oh yeah. All right. Next one. Good question though. Really good question. Next one is from Andy Massey, fellow magic guy we've heard from before. Let's see what Andy's up to. Here we go.
Magic guys.
Well,
Andy here from the United States of America. Just a question. So I found a lot of inspiration for magic from reading, and I'm a mental health professional, so I do some mental health work. I work with people with severe persistent mental illness, and I'm also really interested in people with odd neurological disorders, like people that have musophilia who can hear music in their heads. And those sorts of things have given me some inspiration for magic. Curious, what sort of things give you all inspiration for magical things that are outside of the magic realm, or that maybe are a little different? other interests like being in a band, or other things. Thanks, guys. Love the pod. See ya.
Yeah, buddy.
No, I too was
Should've
in a
sneaked that
band
in there.
once. I was very young, but I used to
yeah.
write heavy metal music. And my friend Ike Sherlock, what's up, Ike? If you're out there, we were ready to be the next thing, but neither one of us were able to even get an instrument. So,
And I just want to point out, doesn't everyone hear music in their head, or am I a special person as well?
I heard
isn't
it.
Isn't that how
Yeah.
we, or is he saying like, not at will, but just randomly he'll hear a song start playing and be like, oh, not again.
Dude, I constantly walk to the tune of Smooth Operator when I'm
Yeah, I
like
believe
nonstop.
that.
Everywhere I go, it's just Smooth Operator.
That explains a lot, Nick. Nick K. That all those Instagram stories when you're like on your scooter, like, or your skateboard going off to a gig. Now I can just hear that playing in the background. Smooth operator.
I'm going to make a note today. As I was writing, I'm doing these lessons I'm putting together, and today I was writing some things on magic presentation. And I think that you kind of summed up a big part of what makes it good, and that's being kind of an exaggerated version of yourself. And when you can find something in your life that interests you and you're able to bring it into your magic presentations, it's going to make your audience is going to feel that. And in your case, and pretty much everyone's case, if they think about it, you're going to offer people a new experience. You start telling them this story about when you're 8 years old and yada, 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 and you could hear music.
Did you hear the interview with Jimmy Carr on, I think it was The Diary of a CEO? It was a recent podcast. And the guy asked Jimmy Carr, do you have any advice on public speaking? And he said, speak at, and someone's going to correct me properly, but he said like a specific beats per minute to try and speak at. I think it's something, it ends in 2. It's like either speak at 52 beats per minute or 92 beats per minute. Anyway, it's a viral clip that's gone around, but he's like, I think it's 92 beats per minute. And he basically goes like, before I go on stage, I'll listen. I have a playlist of all the songs that are set to this BPM. And so it's not about how fast you talk, but it's just like that your cadence is da-da-da, 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 like this. Oh yeah, 92 beats per minute. Thanks, Tom.
Is that the heartbeat? Is that the standard heartbeat for a human? Is that why it
I think
is?
it's 60 beats a minute.
Yeah, I think it's 80 over 60 maybe. But
What if you drink coffee like I do?
he basically said a lot.
I'm up there.
He said that most of the popular speakers of the world, or popular speeches we know of, are that because they spoke at that beat per minute. So,
Right.
so there's something to be said about having a song in your head while you do stuff.
Love
Let
learning
me
this.
let me add to that by saying that when you have a knowledge like you have, which is rather rare, the cool thing is that you can use magic as a medium so that people can understand the conditions that you are actually helping people with. So, for example, I did a show many years ago now, but I was performing at Mona Museum in Tasmania, and it was for the Dementia Foundation. And what they wanted me to do was to have the audience experience what it would be like to have dementia. And so I had to customize all these routines to do that. And so it's interesting that you're in a position where you have such a vast knowledge of this type of thing that you can actually help people experience what it would be like to actually have to live with these sorts of ailments. There is a PK sound routine that you can actually do to influence people, to help them experience that. So this is something that, whether it be through some sort of bone conducting or whatever the method might be, I think that you can use that as an influence, but use the medium of magic to deliver it so people can better understand what you do. And the cool thing is that it opens you up to be to speak at these sorts of events and to perform as these sorts of events. So not only is it educational, but it's super entertaining. So I would sort of give you a little nudge in that direction. And I hope that sort of gives you some guidance.
Yeah. And to answer this question, were there things outside of magic that inspire the way you perform now? Definitely music is one of them for me. I love a good I love a good track to inspire the music I'm doing, or I'm still trying to work out some sick beatboxing work into routines. So like my love for music definitely evolves into that. But Doug, drugs highly affects.
I mean, I use those to enjoy the movies that inspire me. I like.
How good is The Matrix?
You know what I like is superhero movies. I draw a lot from that when I'm presenting magic, because this is a presentation angle that an audience can relate to. Super strength, mentalism, frost breath, laser breath, whatever it is. You give them these things they can relate to, and now maybe their neural pathways aren't thinking about the secret stuff like that. So, yeah, comic books, movies, poker. I love poker. That would be one. And then Josh Norbito's beatboxing is something that I get into on the side.
Inspired. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm ready. Ready to do some wand flourishing now.
The shower is the best time to beatbox, just so you know.
As if I didn't already?
It's when you have the biggest audience. Here we go. Dale Henderson, our next speak pipe. Dale, let's see what's up. We're coming at you.
Hello, Dale here from Newcastle, England. So I've got my first ever competition coming up. It's a close-up competition, and it's in a room full of magicians, judged by magicians. I just wanted some advice off you on performing in front of magicians and competition magic. Thanks.
Okay.
I got the best piece of advice. Fuck them. No, just kidding.
That is a great piece of advice, actually.
It is.
True. True.
There's room to create magic for magicians and do that thing. But man, if you want to do the best magic, create something for real people, do it a lot, and then share that. And it's going to be enjoyed more than anything because it's well presented.
Well, that's interesting because I had a very influential conversation with Simon Coronel, who is last Australian FISM winner and a brilliant mind and a great friend. And many years ago, he just politely said, like, you're not a competition magician. Like, just straight, dead between the eyes. You are not a competition magician. And I was like, ouch. And he said, no, sorry, let me explain. You don't belong in competitions. Competitions means you've got to look at what they want. So they're going to judge you on presentation, originality, something, all these accolades. Look at that and look how it applies to your routine, because you don't belong in there. You belong on Jay Leno, and you belong on Ellen, and you belong on the corporates and the stage. And he said to me quite literally, if I had what you had, I would never bother doing a competition because I could make money the way you do. And I would rather have that life than have to do these competitions and travel and do my competition pieces all over the planet always. And so that's maybe a little something you can ask yourself. Are you not a competition magician, or is it just a nice personal challenge? But either way, the advice was given that look at the accolades that you will be judged on and see how your routines apply to that.
Okay, devil's advocate.
Yes.
Was he just trying to stop you from competing because you have really good, creativity? And he's like, I don't want this fire. So he's like, you're way better than what I'm winning awards at right now.
Son of a bitch, Simon. No, actually.
By the way, Simon,
and ask him. I'll invite him on the pod and be like, hey, what the fuck?
Please do. So when he won FISM last year, when he got that award, I did send him a very nice email, and he sent a very nice reply. Basically stating that he's just staying away from the limelight for now. He's like, yeah, I'm just kind of staying away from humans and everything. But, if that changes, I'll let you know. But thank you for... And I'm like, what magician doesn't want the fire? What magician doesn't want to talk about winning the best award in the world? He's like the opposite. He's like, I just want to disappear for a while. Like... Is he Batman? And he can't be in the public too much? Or like
very much so. It's not even like he's the most unique person as far as that goes, because he has exceptional, award-winning talent, world-class talent, to the point where if you heard the stories about how well his routine was received in FISM, and people were like storming the stage to look at the gimmick he created at the very end of his routine and fooling the crap out of everyone. He just does his competition piece and moves on with his life.
And then bloody disappears.
He's not chasing the cruises. He's not chasing this. He's not trying to get corporates. He's not like, check out my show reel, look at my Instagram. He's none of that. He just has this brain that goes, I'm going to create something so perplexing and so fooling, and I'm going to share it with the world, and then I'm going to move on with my life. It's really interesting. I don't know who else I can even equate that to. Like, I don't know a musician I can equate that to or anything.
Yeah. Well, magician-wise, Derek Delgadio, I feel like, is like that, because he's very much like, do good magic, don't be famous. Like, that shouldn't. There should be separate things.
Joe Barry.
But,
Joe Barry's guy.
Doug Henning did it to some level on a major scale. He stepped away from it all.
Yeah, but like Simon Coronel, yeah, that's so perplexing. Like he does, and he just pops up places, right? Like he'll just be at the castle for a week, and I remember because I used to love listening to Two Magicians One Mic when they would do their podcast. It was great stuff, and I love the fact that they would do it even though like he would be on a ship. So they're like, this episode will last as long as the ship's connection to Wi-Fi lasts as it takes off from the jetty or whatever. And so like 40 minutes in, the co-host is like, oh, we've lost Simon. Okay. But I remember him telling a story how, and just like this creativity is just so funny. Talking about magic for magicians, he would do a lot of playing on what magicians know, or like classic routines. Magicians are expecting things to happen. So he was saying that, you know, how every cover band magician will do the bowling ball production, right? Kevin James, amazing routine. So he's like, so what we did was at the end, instead of it saying ball, he wrote Ebola. And then when he turns it around to do the thing, this green smoke just comes out instead, and then he dies. And that was like how he did his routine. It's like, so for magicians, they're gonna lose their mind at that kind of stuff, right?
Ebola-rama.
Yeah. Like, how good is that? But a lay audience is like, what the hell's going on? But because of the knowledge magicians have, it's hilarious. And another thing I remember is Steve Cohen talking about this dear friend he had that passed away when they were kids, but he had such a promise in magic. And he talks about how he had this dentist character, and he, like, in this performance he's doing for magicians, he has 2 toothbrushes. So he's doing a magic act with these toothbrushes, and imagine the heads of the toothbrushes are here, and he goes like this. Do you know what that is? And everyone's like, no. And he goes, that is a perfect pharaoh. Because he's put the teeth of the
brush.
So like, yeah, it was like, so it got such a good laugh. So I guess, you know, this is a long way of saying, yeah, when it comes to magicians, you just like got to use the knowledge they think of what's coming, and then make it either funnier or more magical. And
funny is money, man. If you can make them laugh, you'll be in good position to do better than not. So yeah.
And what about the class? Sorry, Nick.
Not at all. And I was just going to say that, like, and it's an experience, you know what I mean? So take it upon yourself, do the competitions. If you really want to be a competition magician, do as many as you can and get better and better and better at them till you're like the greatest competition magician ever. Like, don't let anything discourage you, but try it. And if you're not into it, you have other avenues you can focus on.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, the last thing I was going to say is, you know, talking about being funny, like, what about the amazing story of David Williamson with his cards across routine on stage? Do you guys know remember that story?
Cards across?
Yeah, like, you know, that's so good. And it's just playing on what magicians think is going to happen. And for the listeners, basically, they'd been chatting about like, what are some new methods we could come up with for cards across or whatever. And then, people listening to this probably know this story better. I think it was in his Penguin Live lecture. I heard this story, but basically he gets on stage and I think he didn't quite know what he would perform that night, but he gets up and he's got 10 people on each side and they've all got a card each, maybe, anyway, he's like, I want you to protect this woman from who's holding all the cards. Nick, I feel like you probably had this story.
Well, only,
Yeah,
only because we spoke about it recently. And what he had was there was a person with 10 and a person with 10 cards, right? And he was saying that he's going to try and get these cards across. And then he would like steal these 3 cards and they would be like all crunkled up in his hand. And then he would like fight through people and they would be crash tackling him so he couldn't make it to the other side and so forth. And at the end of it, like he couldn't pull it off. But then he goes, oh, hang on a second. And he counts how many people on the left side of the stage and there's 7. And then you count how many guards are on the other side of the thing, and there's 13. And it's like, oh, it's guards across. That's a very
yeah. Like he's thanking everyone as they leave. I think he's like on one side, it's like 1, thank you, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it was the most talked about thing for that night, right? And everyone was like hoping he'd do it again, but it was like a one-time thing. Yeah. It's good stuff, man.
He has the best stories, especially that one about like with the 5 cards and you shuffle and you choose one and that's the one you're thinking of. Like, we'll bring him on so we can tell you the stories himself. But this is like one of the most longest running jokes or cons, if you will, in Magic history. And it's the best thing ever. Like, it is so great.
And then like his Copperfield stories when he fooled him, like all that stuff. He's just the best.
Have we reached out to David Williamson to be on this show? Have we done that?
I don't think so. At least not from my end.
I might see him tomorrow. Yeah, I might.
You might see him tomorrow.
Oh no! Like we might have a
the
chat.
F?
Well, yeah. I might chat to him tomorrow if he's around on
let's do that.
Flight school that he runs. And I'll just say that you were a hot topic of conversation in yesterday's episode. Would you like to come on the show sometime? I'll ask him.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right. That's exciting. All right. Well, I don't know how I can concentrate now, but our next speak pipe is from Thomas Congo, who's in the chat right now. So let's see what Tom has for us. Here we go.
All right, podcast guys. Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Just kidding. Classic.
Baba Booey.
This is Thomas Conger here. I just wanted to let you guys know I love you guys as always. Question to keep it on theme this week. I used my Magic and Sleight of Hand, my poorly used Sleight of Hand, to get free Subway, which was a $22 value out of my pocket, in my pocket, whatever. And because of Sleight of Hand, I got free food. I was wondering if you guys could share the one time or a couple times you might have gotten something for free because of just doing Sleight of Hand.
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
that's all I got. I made it to 45 seconds. I tried to do 90. Oh, well. See you guys soon.
Thanks, Thomas.
Buddy.
I have 2 stories. One is about our good friend Dave Williamson, in which he used the top change to get us free dessert. And he actually has said this many times, and he's like EMC, so forth. And we're at a restaurant, and he did the whole thing where it's like, he flashes the card. He's like, if I get your card right, you got to give us a free dessert. Otherwise, I'll give you $50 tip, sort of thing. Like, and I'll take it. And the top change is like, boom. And then we got desserts, which was really, really funny. But the most recent time that I got a free something was I had a puncture. I had a flat tire on my car. And so I took it to the wheelhouse, for lack of a better word. And I just dropped it off. And they said, yeah, come back in like an hour and we'll get your puncture all sorted. So I go to a coffee shop, come back, and he's like, what's with the cards on the dashboard? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm a magician. They're like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, you want to see something? I said to the guys, like, do you have like 5-10 minutes for a break? And he goes, yeah, but we've been working hard. Everyone take 10. Come in the office. And so I grab the cards and I do all my shtick. And everyone has a good time and a laugh. And I drop my business card, et cetera, et cetera. And then I go, well, that was really fun, gentlemen. What do I owe you? And he looks at Rocco, who owns the shop, and goes, I reckon that was worth $70. Don't you think, Rocco? I reckon it was totally worth $70 on your bike, mate. And I was like, thank you, gentlemen. And away I went. So
hey, that's that's awesome, man. Yeah. First of all, I'll say Thomas Congo put his performance video. What? Hearing some reverb. Is that me? Is there an echo? But Tom put his performance in the Discord, in the Magic Ghost Discord, and it was great. So I don't know what you're saying about, oh, it was not good. It was great, man. So well done on getting free Subway. Do it more. And what Tom was surprised with is how much non-magicians enjoy Magic, you know? I think as soon as you take Magic off the internet and in the real world, it's like you realize how much of a joy it is. No one can replay it and, you know, have jumped on freaking, what is it? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. The devil's work. So glad you enjoyed that. So one time I was in an Uber and they always ask you what you do. And I was like, I'm a magician and I just like a card spring. And he was like, well, you're getting a free trip. And he just like ended the meter. So that was weird,
Wow.
but cool. And then the only other times I've gotten free stuff is with Brendan Dooley, because our buddy Brendan Dooley loves free stuff with Magic. So when we were hanging out, he got us free stuff at least twice. One was at the bar we were hanging out at. When the girl came to take our order, he's like, would you consider giving us a discount if I can show you something amazing? That's the line he leads with. And they're like, okay. So we did Magic, and then they came, and then we put our order in, but then they came back and gave us a free second round of drinks.
Oh, nice.
So that was cool. And then we go bowling, and he's like, before we pay for this lane, if I show you something amazing, would you consider giving us a discount? And the guy's like, all right. And then he, smashes out bloody Omni deck and all this stuff. And the guy's like, all right, I'm going to give you guys the, whatever it was, the senior discount, which is like unlimited play for like a small fee. And I know he's done it for a variety of things. Like he said, when he went to a part in New Zealand where you go up the, like the mountain, I forget what it's called now, but Nick, you might know. There's like a part in New Zealand where it's more of a snowy tourist area.
In Queenstown?
Queenstown, that's it. And they went to one of the things and you get a photo before you go. And he's like,
Or the gondola.
The gondola. And they were I think he might have been like with Kayla Morelli or something, someone who was touring through there. And he's like, we're going to leave it. But then they turned around and he's like, actually, because they said no to the photo and they just throw them away afterwards. He's like, actually, if I show you something amazing, would you consider giving us that photo? And they're like, all right. And he did it and they got it for free. And I think it was Kaylin, but yeah, Kaylin was like, damn, do you do this often? So if you're ever with Brendan Dooley, be sure to get something free or see your routine. So anyways, it's a good way to barter, I guess, for stuff, right? But I always feel weird. I never bring up Magic really in the real world unless it's like, I don't know, naturally comes up, I guess.
Yeah. I'll just say I won't hustle it, only because I would rather get paid my full fee and then pay someone else their full fee and their privilege and just have money circulate the way that like it's intended to. But when it's a lovely gesture of kindness and thanks, then by all means, thanks. I'm not against it. I just prefer not to. I just prefer to not. That's me. Doug?
What, free stuff?
Yeah.
Like I get, I've got some weird free stuff on the street. Nowadays I get free stuff for being a social media guy. Here's a weird one I got. Chris Webber sent me these.
Okay.
These are fake doobies. So these are wooden doobies. They're carved and painted. So I used these in the 420 video last week, but shout out to Chris Webber for sending me these cool toys. And while I'm talking about magicians sending me freebies, let me plug the loop here with we had a chat with Jeff Copeland over at Copeland Coins.
Love that guy.
I'm doing an event with them next week. If you guys are in the loop, which is his membership offering where he brings in lecturers like yours truly. We're going to do a coin jam, and I haven't ordered one of his copper silver coins, so I took the opportunity to order the best copper silver coin, which is a Copeland copper silver. And then as he sent me this package, I got all this other free swag. So I got like this excellent shell. He's making proprietary shells that go over his copper silver. This is just a beautiful piece of work here. This is a commemorative zoo coin. And this is light exposure, but if you do coin magic and want the best copper silver coin, this is the infinity edge where you cannot discern the moment that the coin goes from copper into a silver. And if you have an inferior coin at home to compare it to, you'll know what I'm talking about.
That looks exactly like a Kennedy $half. Like,
yeah, it's a great, it's the bee's knees. And so there, Jeff got a little plug in, and I got some free stuff. I got a purse and some of his, I guess you get some collector's coins with Mr. Copeland when you join his loop, and got some of those. Yeah, it's not too
Okay.
bad being me. Like Hanson Chin Swag. I got this one from Hanson Phoenix. It's like
Oh,
a trick
snap.
I probably would not have purchased, but really have enjoyed experimenting with. It's a very interesting bill restoration. It's like the pin through the bill, but the hole is visible and tactile, and it seals front and back, and it's not a gimmicked pin. It's such a unique thing that I probably would not have bought for myself, but because I'm in the position I am, I get to experiment with these things people send me.
All right.
Have I talked enough about how lucky I am to be Doug Kahn in the Magic universe?
I was going to say, okay, well, since we're talking about stuff magicians are sending us, all right?
Yeah.
My friends at Arvel Magic have sent me a kit of Tech Magic. So they sent me the new Arvel watch. I guess I'm going to do an actual review on these when I have video performance captures. But anyone who's looked up this watch, like this is like a couple of $100 watch, and the tech on this is pretty darn good. I've been using it at every gig now, so I guess in terms of like, will you use it, means it's worth getting it. Like I'm using it every time I do a gig now, and I'm just waiting to like go back to Theatre Magic to actually perform it, because I think something that could be unique from reviews is if I can actually show me using it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Nicholas Lawrence spoke about that particular item at length and said that it's a must. And so, yeah, we spoke briefly about it last week, Josh, when I asked you about it. And you're like, oh, you're not going to believe it. I got one. I'm like, son of a bitch. So,
yeah.
So is it a time prediction? It's like name a time. It's on my watch.
So, yeah. So, I mean, if I I'll briefly talk about it. So, yes, you can control the time that's on it. You can also set it up to always go to a specific, like an extra feature is, so this has census built into it. So it'll do different things depending on if it's face down, upright, or face up. And you can have it set so that when it's face down and you click the pin, it'll go to a set force time that you might reveal with cards, for example, which is what I have set up for it. So you can do stuff without needing to use the app or input, like, you can just have the watch do magic with it, or you can, set it to end up at a time. And it also has voice activation. So if your phone is nearby, you can just say the time out loud and it will go to that time, and it will pick up on words that you set, so it knows to lock that time and not change it if another time is said out loud. Like it's pretty nuts, and it's also pretty goddamn accurate as well with what I've been playing with it.
One.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about one more good friend of ours. It's our good friends from Do Scala, and they are releasing Optical.
Oh, yay.
Okay.
I've had this for a while now, but I've had to remain very silent about it. But seeing that we're, doing light exposure, if you will, it's a great gimmick that you use as a gag ultimately, and you can do the whole and then just put it back in your pocket. So good old-fashioned old Pop Hayden shtick, but this is really wonderfully built, super solid, and it actually smells like an ice cream. Like it
That's
actually
cool.
smells. Yeah,
Wow.
it just and like the package, it comes just like a normal ice cream, like in the packaging when you buy it, and then but it's just
Do
like
Scala doing it right.
Wow.
They're doing it proper, and they're
is this so you can do the production of an ice cream, or what is
Correct.
the use?
It's an old gag, very much popularized by Pop Hayden back in its day, but they're producing these, and it's really, really good. And so at the moment, they're only selling it at like conventions and so forth, but it will be released very, very soon. It's at a very good price point. I think it's a good bit of kit, even for the sake of comedy. It's brilliant.
Heck yeah. All right. Look, we got three more Speakpipes to gun through. So I reckon let's keep going with them. But this is great stuff. This one is from Anonymous again. So fingers crossed.
Hey guys, my name is Caden. I'm from a small town named Marshall, Minnesota. Just wanted to start by saying too, love the podcast, love all your guys' magic. Been watching your socials and things, and I have actually particularly been watching a lot of Doug's videos recently, learning some new magic from there.
You're the one. Thank you.
I had a spitball idea for you guys. I recently got a deck of cards that has blank faces. And I had an idea for a trick that I've been kind of just starting to perform, where I explained to someone that I am going to try and force a card on them, and then I'm actually going to tell them what the card is just as a challenge to myself, and I do a dribble force. It ends up actually being a different card, so I usually tell them be the Queen of Clubs, and they get the Four of Diamonds, for example, and they tell me, oh, you must have done it wrong or something, and I tell them that I actually did still force that card and reveal that the entire deck is blank except for that card. And I was wondering if you guys would have maybe some alternate handlings or different ideas of tricks that maybe you either like to do or that adaptations I could do for this trick. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so I see this as a kind of it being a force. You obviously don't tell them you're going to make them do a thing. One of the things I love doing, especially with a like with an ambitious type routine, I'll ask people, "Do you have a favorite card?" And they go, "Yeah," and like that's weird, and everyone laughs, and I go like, "Oh, I'm a magician. I don't have a favorite card. You're just strange." And then they'll go, "What's your favorite card?" And like, "I like the Queen of Hearts." Then I'm like, "Cool, we're going to play a game called Don't Choose the Queen of Hearts." It's very simple. You can do whatever you like, but don't choose the Queen of Hearts. And then I'll do one force and they'll hit it and I'll go like, yeah, don't choose the Queen of Hearts, a different one. I'm just going to pill chunks this time. And you just say stop. But yeah, not the Queen of Hearts, right? You know, you just point to a card, classic force, boom. And you go like, you know, at this point, you probably think I have a whole pack of queens and I don't. And you spread and they're all blank. That would be lit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
So,
nice.
yeah, like that's how I would do it. It does require an index, but everyone knows that I love indexes. Love them.
Yeah.
I'm an index pig. I'm an index pig. I just oink and have indexes. So that's how I would go about it. But you could just as easily, you know, like so what I would, if you did say you did an ambitious sequence and did a deck switch, you know, like you would an Omni deck or something, and then brung in the blank deck, sick. But that's,
I mean, on
fun.
David, it's amazing. I know, you know, on David Blaine's special, one of his last specials, he did this effect, but instead of blank faces, it was a prediction with Jamie Foxx, and it said, like, you will not. So the prediction was, you will not pick the 7 of diamonds.
That's
right?
so weird. I have this trick in my hand right now. Look at
this.
Shit. It says you will not pick a joker, and then you end up forcing the 5 of spades, and the rest of the deck is jokers. That's the exact trick that I was going to mention.
There you go. And then I think he ends with turning, which is probably what that trick does, I'm guessing. Like you end up then turning their card into the joker. But in his case, yeah, so he writes down something, he picks a card, he goes, look, my prediction is you will not pick the 9 of diamonds or 7 of diamonds. And they're like, yeah, correct. But it's like, that's not magical because this is a 5 of spades. And then he should, no, but look, if you pick this one, all of them would have been a 7 of diamonds. Yeah, I'm imagining.
Presentation kills. It's a great way to go with the one-way deck as an option.
There you go. Oh yeah, just with the one-way deck. Maybe that's a reason to
that's
bust
what
out
that's what it is in a sense, right? The blank face could be any one-way deck for this trick.
Yeah.
I have another idea. So you could do, if you have a second deal that's sweet, I would just second deal cards, and they can say stop whenever they want. And then when they say stop, you put that card with them, you scoop up the deck, leave the pack there, and go, I wrote something on my Instagram. I want you to scan this QR code on my card box and go see what it says. And then it says, I knew you were going to choose the 5 of hearts. And they go, if that's a 5 of hearts, check it out. And then they do the 5 of hearts. And it's this whole like, great. If it blows your mind, hit the follow button, etc. It's a nice way to drive traffic to your socials. Then when they can, normally they'll ask questions. And I'll even just go, like, I'll finish the routine. I'll go, any questions? And they'll go, how? And I go like, oh, no, I had to be. No, you made us. No, I had to, like, it wasn't up to me. Like, it had to be this card. And then you can show that had to be this card because it is the only card with a face in the back.
Yeah, nice.
I have to mention this, Blizzard. If that trick isn't on your radar and you like blank deck magic, Dean Dill's Blizzard is something that you should look into. If you happen to be on my YouTube members, go search for that title there.
Okay. All right. I think that wraps up that talk.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We killed it. We crushed that topic.
Heck yeah. All right. Nick G, coming at you strong and hard with a voice speak pipe. And I've muted it. So we're just going to chat for a few seconds while I wait for it to get to the end so I can hit play again. But man, how good were those blank deck ideas? They were so good. All right. And we're ready to play his again. Here we go.
Hey, Magic Guys. What is a memorable time that you did a small little trick for someone you just met in the wild? You didn't go out with the intention to perform, but you started talking and the topic of careers came up, and you had to show off with what is in your pockets.
At the strip club, always. Just kidding.
They love it when you put pennies in their panties, most definitely.
Penny magic, yeah. It's, that's when dollar bill magic is the most relevant, right? No? Okay, we'll move on.
I think it's just those rare moments when you go for the miracle and the miracle lands. And that happens a lot more, only because I have more opportunities to perform than the average bear. But I think that when you go for this miracle and you're like, if it hits, sick. And if it doesn't, meh. You know, like, not as if it like it meh. It's like you've got an outcome, but it's just when you go throw a card down and just go name a card and it hits or something like that. Not to the point where it's too perfect, but there's a lot of those moments. But a story based around that, I'm gonna need a minute.
Well, he's just saying, was there a time in public where like someone was like, "Oh, you do magic," or you just did a vanish?
I was looking at my memories today. It was actually a year ago, but it's like this kind of thing happens all the time, right? It's me at a table with a group of kids at a wedding, you know, and I always keep a couple sponge balls in my pocket and a couple coins. I didn't go to this wedding to be magic guy, and I never perform unless I'm asked. But this is an example of a time where I sit and I'm like, these kids are bored out of their mind. There's adults having adulting. These kids got nothing to do, and I can take them into Wonderland for 10 or 15 minutes. And that's what I did. My wife was kind enough to film it, and I used a little bit of it on social media. But that's was a fond memory for me today. Of one video was 1 coin, 6 squeals. So 30 seconds with this group of 4 kids, and I elicited 6 different emotions with just sleight of hand and a coin. And what a blessing it is to be in an art form where we can bring this kind of life to an event for no children of all ages, right?
Yeah, it's a true superpower to be able to change someone's mood for the day, you know, with a little bit of magic.
Yeah, just a coin.
Yeah. Wow. Often it's the staff in the hotel where we're doing our theater of magic that's I'll try and show a little piece of magic to, because they're just there like for hours and hours, like waiting for customers to come up to the concierge desk or whatnot. So I'm yet to do timeline for them, which
that's such a good one.
I can't wait. I'm just saving it because I know we're going to be there for years and years, hopefully. So I don't want to use it.
I almost did it the other day, but I mean, this person was so miserable, I didn't even want to help him. It's like, man, I could make your life better right now, but you're just
because what I love is the staff in the hotel are just like, oh, you're doing the magic show, right? Oh yeah, cool. But they don't like actually know how magical like their magic is. So when I do show them something, they're like, are you freaking serious?
Yeah,
and you do this every night in that room? Like, oh man, I have to. And their mood changes. All of a sudden, like we get treated like one quick story is, so you have to, it's a big fluff around to go and park in this casino because you have to
always is, right?
Like it. Yeah. And they, as soon as there's a couple of cars already in there, then they only let you in if you're like a diamond member or whatever. So we have to like hit the buzzer. We're like, hey, we have a show here. We're allowed to come in. Then they let you in, all this stuff. Anyway, and we have so much stuff to lug up and set up the show. So normally what we do is we drive around to the loading bay, which is on the street level, unload our stuff, then take the car down, go through all that stuff. Well, now that the concierge knows that we do magic, he's like, you can leave your car there. It's fine. Like he lets us leave Nigel's car in the loading bay of the casino because he's the guy that's in charge of like overseeing what cars come in and out of there. So he's like, it's all right, boss. You can leave it there. So it's like, it's cool. We get treated well. We're doing magic. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hey, we've got one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go, Nick.
I was just saying, like, parking real estate is the best thing ever. I just recently, through one of the partners we have contracts with, I politely gave one of the managers of a venue a lift home, and he was like, why don't you park here? I go, because I park there. And they're right next door to each other, these 2 parking lots. And he goes, we have contracts with them. You can park there for $4. And I'm like, there's $10. And it's like, yeah, but like you can park there whenever you want for like $4 in the city. And I cannot tell you how many times I do gigs in the city where they charge $30 an hour in the middle of the day. you know, and
Yep.
it's a 1 hour road, which means they're charging you for 2 hours. You know what I mean?
$50 easy every time.
Dude, the last time I was there, I was performing at Telstra, and it was $70 for my parking. By the time I got there 30 minutes early, did my guff, packed my stuff, etc. Yeah, $70. So it was like
I literally had that exact same story. I did a gig for Telstra during the day in the city for like their team fucking 30 people thing. But yeah, I was like, God damn it. But they pay well, so it covered the parking, right? So it's like, it's all good. All right, we got one more SpeakPipe. This one comes in from Seth. He sent this, I think, while we were doing the pod. So I have not vetted this one yet. So I'm going to get ready to mute it. Should we? But I trust him. Let's see what happens. I know.
I've got a question for the fantastic Mr. Nick K. You know, Josh obviously figured out.
We're just gonna mute that one. We don't need to hear from this one. It's all good. I should have vetted it.
Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
I usually cull all of the specific to Nick questions, but no, here we go. Let me hit play again.
A backflip in his set, and I'm wondering, with your background in music, have you been able to work any of that into your magic performance? I've been a gigging musician for 17 years, and I've been trying to combine those two worlds and have yet to figure out how to do so. So I was curious to hear if you do anything with it. Cheers.
Great question, and thank you for the kind word, friends. So I think that I did come up with a routine in which songs were chosen from either a bag or a box or that sort of thing, and then I would hold the guitar, and then I would try to do like a mind reading effect where I'm just like, you just like hum the melody, can you just like hum the blah, and then I would like play along, and I would actually end up singing what the song they were merely thinking of as a type of mind reading effect. I would do that. But I think that I was thinking about this recently, and I think that it's like the essence of the music that I sort of bring to the Magic game. Like, I'm a punk rocker, but you wouldn't believe it, but like I'm a punk rocker by nature. And like the true nature of punk rock is just not that in total anarchism and so forth, but it's as far as like when you present your music, it's not always about like how well you can play your instrument or being the best singer or the best anything. It's just about writing really awesome songs. And that's what I really hyper focus on, just writing like really good songs. And the really good songs are the routines. And the patter is my lyrics, and the chords and the music progression is the slides that I do. And all of those sort of entities make not only a beautiful song, but a beautiful routine.
Nice. And that's what we have time for.
Well, hold on. I'm recalling a brush with greatness. I don't know if anyone would even know who David Allen Coe is. Does that name ring a bell to anybody?
Kinda.
David Allen Coe. He came in LaRock's Magic when I was working the counter, and by gum, look at this shirt. 1988 would have been the season I would have been at this magic shop.
Ooh.
Shit kicker country music, and in the middle of his act, he breaks to do like classical Chavez stuff. He does like zombie ball and other assorted weirdness, and
Can we get a close up on that photograph in the bottom right corner? Because that is a magnificent haircut.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm lost in where I'm at right now. Hold on a
Go
second.
to the right. Oh no, it's my cursor.
I'm gonna have to open a new tab to do that, guys. Because
it's okay.
You need to see David Allen Cole. He's a unique individual. And when I talk, I would have been like weird to see this guy doing a magic act after presenting a little bit of shit kicking country music. And John Prentice knows what I'm talking about. He's out there. Where is David Allen Cole?
We're going to find it. We're stopping everyone from going to watch Kill Tony live.
No, man, we're going to talk about David Allen Cole for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, look at that. So he's busting out magic is what you're saying.
Look, I'm done talking about it. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I like it. I like it. No, look, thank you to everyone who sent through your SpeakPipes. Keep them coming. It's great. It's great stuff. And we will announce who gets the unreleased merch shirt for Best SpeakPipe in our Instagram story and Discord. We'll post that later today. But Nick, anything you want to add before we sign off?
Yes. So for those of you who are coming to Magic Sports tonight at the Laneway Theatre, I will see you there. It'll be an awesome time. I'll also mention next week that I will be lecturing in New Zealand, and I'll give you the dates and details for that. They should be here by next week. Yeah. And I'll be on your side of the planet start of June as well. Mr. Nobito, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to high five.
Exciting.
Heck yeah. We can do a little head five, a little ball-to-ball skin contact. Look out for that content, guys.
We'll call it another Aurora.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Love you all. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.